Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Debra, and I am Dr. Debra, She Wears Boldly podcast. But today I'm introducing a new one, and it's right behind me here. It's called Lead and Speak Without Permission. And to introduce it, I'm doing a special episode of She Wears Boldly. This podcast will include both men and women having hard conversations, telling their difficult stories, and hopefully encouraging other people out there and changing the world. This is a beginning of something new, because after years of empowering women to find their voice, reclaim their power, rise boldly through adversity, I started to realize something really important. The world is changing faster than most people are emotionally prepared for. Leadership is changing. Communication is changing. AI is becoming big and important and challenging and scary. Work is changing, and the way we do work is changing. Our confidence, sometimes it's shrinking, particularly with all the global issues and all the things coming out and all the things that can be fearful. Sometimes we feel like we're ready, and sometimes we feel like we're not. And a lot of us are waiting to be chosen and to feel qualified, waiting for permission. Unfortunately, nobody's going to give that to you. So what exactly is this podcast about? And why did I create it? It's exactly why I created it. So that we can learn how to speak, how to lead without somebody giving us permission. It's not just a podcast about speaking. This is a podcast about leadership in real life. We do not lead when the world feels uncertain. How we lead when the world feels uncertain. How do we communicate when the pressure is high? How do we stay visible when technology is changing everything that we know? How do we keep our humanity in a world increasingly driven by automation and artificial intelligence? And maybe the greatest question of all, how do we stop shrinking in rooms we were born to lead in? What are the answers? How do we show up powerfully? This is what the show is about. It's not about perfection. It's not about performance. It's not about pretending to have all the answers. But it's about real conversation from real people, from leaders on courage, communication, reinvention, visibility, confidence, resilience, business, pressure, identity, purpose, and the human skill that still matters. Because I believe something deeply. Authority is not granted. It is achieved. It is trained, and it is learned. And too many brilliant people are still waiting for someone else out there to validate who they are, what they are, and that very essence of what they carry inside themselves. This new podcast is here to challenge that. Now, if you have been following She Wears Boldly for a while, you know that this platform has always been about empowering women to rise boldly, heal loudly, and use their voice unapologetically. It's also been a place that they could showcase their gifts, their talents, their products, and that will continue. I'm not changing that mission. It is still the same. This is just a new space where we can start expanding some of those conversations we had before, put together some panels in the future. Because you see, leadership impacts every single one of us, even those that may be questioning what this has to do with them. We lead in so many ways, whether it's a powerful conversation with our next door neighbor, learning techniques and ways to handle working in the business world, or fear over AI. Because you see, pressure impacts us all, fear impacts us all, and the ability to be able to communicate and lead confidently is becoming one of the most valuable skills in the world today, especially in the age of AI. So let's talk about that for just a moment. Right now, people everywhere are concerned. They're afraid. They are actually afraid of becoming irrelevant, afraid that technology is moving faster than they can keep up with. But what I want to say, and I want to say this very clearly today, your humanity matters. Your voice matters. Your ability to think critically, connect emotionally, communicate powerfully, and to lead calmly under pressure matters. Maybe now more than ever. AI can process information, you're correct, and do it very fast and produce a lot. But what it can't do is replace our human courage. It can generate content, but it cannot replace our human connections. It can automate systems, but it can't replace presence, empathy, trust, intuition, resilience, or leadership. And the people who will thrive in this next season as we go forward are not necessarily the people with the highest IQs or the most technical knowledge. It'll be the people who know how to adapt, know how to communicate, the people who know how to stay grounded during uncertain times, the people who know how to lead without waiting for permission. This is what I teach. That is what I live. And that is what this podcast will explore. So, what can you expect here? Real conversations, honest conversations, and powerful conversations. Some episodes may be solo, like this one. Some will include guests from leadership, business, sports, media, education, entrepreneurship, and personal transformation. We are going to talk about leadership under pressure, confidence, executive presence, communication, AI, and our human voice, reinvention, emotional resilience, fear, visibility, decision-making, identity, and purpose, and how we can use our voice powerfully in rooms where we once felt invisible. You're going to also be with me on this journey to challenge outdated ideas, ideas that leadership belongs only to certain titles and certain people, ideas that confidence is something you're born with, ideas that you need to be chosen before you lead, the idea that your age disqualifies you, the idea that your story weakens your authority. No. Your story may be the very thing that gives you authority, because pressure doesn't destroy everyone. Pressure sometimes reveals who you were all along. And if there's one thing I've learned through my own journey, the moments that tried to silence me became the moments that taught me how to speak up, and how to lead. And maybe some of you listening today understand exactly what that feels like. Maybe you've spent years in environments where you were overlooked, undervalued, interrupted, dismissed, or told to stay quiet. But you've been carrying gifts you haven't fully used because of the fear convinced you to wait. Wait until you felt confident, more polished, more acceptable, more approved. But leadership rarely arrives with permission. Most people step into leadership long before they feel fully ready. And that's why this conversation matters, because the world does not need more silent brilliance. It needs people that are willing to show up, willing to speak, willing to lead, willing to think, willing to grow, and willing to adapt, willing to use their voice even while still becoming. That is courage. And courage is not loud all the time. Sometimes courage sounds like, I'm going to try. I'm going to speak. I'm going to stop hiding. I'm going to start trusting myself. I'm going to start reinventing myself. And most of all, that I'm going to stop waiting. That's leadership too. I think we need more conversations that make leadership human again, not so polished, not so fake, and not a performance, but more human. Because people are exhausted from pretending. They're exhausted from feeling like they have to appear perfect online while in private. They're falling apart and feeling uncertain inside. This podcast is not about becoming a perfect leader. It's about becoming a present one, a grounded one, a courageous one, a visible one, and a resilient one. And yes, sometimes a leader still gets nervous, still questions themselves, and still has room to grow. Because growth is not a weakness. Growth is evidence that you are still becoming. So if you are listening today and wonder whether you still matter in this changing world of craziness, I'm here to tell you, you do. You are wondering whether your voice still has value? It does. Maybe you're wondering it for the very first time, and that is really exciting. If you are wondering whether it's too late to reinvent yourself, it's never too late. I don't care if your birthday's 100 this year. There is always something new waiting for you. And if you're waiting for permission to finally step into the next version of yourself, well, I said lead and speak without permission, but guess what? This is it. This is your permission notice. No longer do you need another one. And I want to in here at the beginning of this brand new journey. I want to thank you for growing with me. I want to thank you for your support of She Wears Boldly. Like I said, that will still be there. And I hope continue to grow. We're in over 53 countries now. I want to thank you most of all for refusing to stay silent. Because this is what lead and speak without permission is all about. And we are just getting started on that journey. So thank you. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being a part of the She Wears Boldly community. And most of all, thank you, and continue your journey with us as we split off into 2 wonderful podcasts for all your listening pleasure. Be sure to share with your family and friends, because the more we grow this community, the more the voices of the people who are on these podcasts get heard. And you never know who you're going to share something with that could change their life, that could make everything so different and so much more positive. So, from She Wears Boldly host, I encourage you to lead and speak without permission.